Hello, I'm Maxxx Pleasure. I'm a drag king. This is what I look like in drag. Let me tell you, it has been an exciting week for drag kings. There has been a lot going on, and it's really exciting. It feels like what has been steadily humming in the background of popular culture is really starting to rumble and make some noise. Because drag kings have always been around. There are records going all the way back to the 1800s of drag kings performing in variety shows, but back then they were called male impersonators. And drag kings have been performing in gay bars just the same way that drag queens have. Drag kings aren't new. They're not like a new trend that was inspired by Drag Race, not at all. So it's been like really satisfying to see these like drag king wins happening. But whenever great stuff like this happens, like whenever a drag king wins a competition or a group of drag kings get together and call attention to the fact that we're still lacking in representation, we're met with like an avalanche of criticism. And sometimes even criticism is too generous of a word for the responses that we get. I made a tweet earlier this week about how it seems like RuPaul doesn't care about drag kings. Drag Race UK featured a macho drag mini challenge. And this is not the first time that something kind of resembling a drag king has shown up on Drag Race, even though drag kings have never been on the show. What I actually said was RuPaul doesn't give a about drag kings. And I got a lot more responses than I thought I would. There was a lot of stop complaining. There was even a sit down, shut up in there. You're so entitled. You should be thankful for what RuPaul has done. And in all the responses that I got, I mean, I stopped looking after a while, but I kept seeing two questions be repeated. Why don't you make your own show? And why are you putting this on RuPaul when he's not even a drag king? And these are good questions, you know, when they're actually being asked and not just thrown around. And the answer to both of those questions, at least when you're asking me, is the same. RuPaul has a platform. There is no other drag performer on the same level as RuPaul in the entire world. RuPaul has built an empire that has launched the careers of countless drag performers, a platform that has given a leg up to so many drag queens of color in a world where they're not offered the same opportunities as their white counterparts, and has just totally pushed drag into popular culture and into the mainstream. It is really amazing. And for those asking, yes, I am genuinely grateful. But since some controversial comments that Ru made in 2018, she's insinuated that her competition is open to all forms of drag from all different kinds of people, but has yet to put even a single drag king on any of her shows. And there are many. Where are the drag kings? And I don't want my tweet to be correct. I don't want the answer to be that RuPaul just doesn't care about drag kings. But I'm not seeing anything that says otherwise. Ru has launched spinoff after spinoff where the only difference from the original show is the location. And he's been cranking out seasons like nobody's business. I mean, I'm not like a TV exec or anything, but the Drag Race formula is probably going to get worn out really soon. Adding drag kings to the mix would refresh the Drag Race franchise. And it would also be immensely profitable for RuPaul by expanding the show's fan base. I think we can all agree that RuPaul is definitely very interested in making a profit.
Any other record you want to break?
You know, I would love to break the record for the world's richest television host.
The world of drag is so much more diverse and inclusive than RuPaul presents it to be on television. The time for Drag Race to show a truer representation of the drag experience is now. I mean, Quibi did it with Sasha Velour's short series Nightgowns, and HBO is doing it with We Are Here, starring Bob the Drag Queen, Eureka, and Shangela. It is high time that drag kings be included in the Drag Race empire. RuPaul's Drag Race needs to get with it or fall behind. And I'm not even saying this from a place of self-interest. I do not want to go on Drag Race. I don't think I want to do any sort of televised reality competition, but I know so many drag kings who want to be on Drag Race. I know so many drag kings who are worthy of being put on television. And I definitely want drag kings to be just as known in the mainstream as drag queens are. So let's talk details about this, lest anyone think I'm just sitting around and complaining. How can we get drag kings in on Drag Race? I have some ideas. I personally think that there would have to be a drag king specific spin-off, at least in the beginning. I don't really trust that a drag king would be given a fair chance in the competition as it is now. Also, I am just so sick of naysayers insisting that when a drag king wins a competition against drag queens, it's only because the judges wanted inclusivity points. RuPaul could produce this series and act as a sort of grandmotherly figure that pops in every once in a while, goes around the workroom, and like gives advice if she wanted. But ideally, the host of this Drag King spinoff would be someone who actively supports drag kings. And I understand the importance of having the face of the show be someone that's recognizable to a wider TV audience, someone who could really bring in large viewer numbers. And with that in mind, I personally would be okay with a drag queen from Drag Race being the host of the Drag King show. We already know there are queens like Sasha Velour, Shangela, Bob, who can host a drag television show and be inclusive of drag kings. I mean, Landon Cider is easily the most famous drag king in the world. He won season 3 of the Boulet Brothers drag competition Dracula, which is on Netflix now. But I don't know if he has a draw big enough that VH1 television executives would deem acceptable. But Landon should absolutely be a regular judge. Or maybe like he and the queen could co-host it together. I need to calm down. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't even know that Landon is even allowed to be involved in RuPaul's Drag Race. I think there's like something in the Dragula contracts about that. But anyway, the guest judges would be a star-studded group. The challenges would be just as exciting and interesting as they are on Drag Race, but would have room for masculine flair. I wouldn't want the show to be like, manly men, we're masculine, look how masculine we are. Holding drag kings to like that very rigid, slightly toxic masculinity, it's just very limiting. I also don't think it's that interesting. This is a TV drag competition. It needs to be flamboyant and gay and fun. There are so many drag kings out there that I know would eat this show up. And I think current Drag Race fans would really be into this as well. Everybody wins. Drag kings get in on Drag Race. RuPaul makes more money. Everybody's happy. Having a show like this would open up so many doors for drag kings in general, and it would also show the masses how amazing drag kings are. Cause like, that's the thing too. Drag kings should be on television because they deserve the representation, but also drag kings should be on television because everybody that doesn't know what a drag king is, they're just totally missing out. I think drag kings are definitely gaining ground when it comes to visibility and representation, but there's still more to be had, and the kings deserve all of it. And we're not being greedy for wanting that. What we want is more than what we currently have, which is less than what drag queens have. We're not asking for too much. Drag kings have gotta be coming to TV. And we can hurry this along by making this demand for drag kings on television known. We can do this by following drag kings on social media, by interacting with them in whatever way the social media algorithms deems important that week. We can share their work on Instagram and TikTok and Hive, wherever TV executives will see it. And when the country opens up again, we can go to their shows and make sure that these drag kings turn a profit. We know that the demand for drag kings is there. We have to make sure that everybody else knows it and can ignore it. We need to open up RuPaul's eyes to this very lucrative business opportunity, because if she doesn't jump on it, someone else will. And I don't think RuPaul wants to miss out on that. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a like. If you share it, please tag me. You're welcome to share wherever you'd like. And let me know in the comments which drag kings you want to see on television. I'll share my wish list too. That's it. Thank you for watching. Support your local drag kings.